my God, we made it back from Dallas. I'm still in Texas, but I'm in South Texas. You made it back to Mississippi, I see.
Yep. All in one piece.
All
With
right.
a few less pesos, but I mean, all in one piece.
Oh my God, tell me about it. All right, I got Jack laying all around here. Let me rearrange the computer real quick. So, all right, everyone. Hello, welcome. Guys, people coming in. Creases, of course, first one in the room. We got
Diego
jumping in. Glad to see you. Yes, we're going to show some hauls and stuff. I'll be dropping, of course. Let me pull that up too. So those of y'all joining over on Southern Comic Geek side, please jump over to my side and drop me a
like, a follow, all that kind of good stuff.
Like, follow, all that stuff. And then, of course, those that are over on my side, do the same for Southern. So we'll keep dropping these as we go along. Oh man, so what a weekend, man. What a weekend. Hey,
Yeah. What's up, Digger Jim?
What's up, Digger Jim? How you doing, my
Digger
friend?
Jim, I believe, will be at Heroes Con, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So see him in a few days.
That is coming up this weekend, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Let everybody know what you're doing. But yeah, so this is our third annual summer fun tour, as I like to call it, where Southern Comic Geek and I oh, thanks, Tony. I guess I have a book that I'm keeping then. I got a free book out of it.
Yay.
And we'll show that here in a little bit. Show my new free book. Courtesy of Tony. But yeah, so we met up, of course, on Thursday, as we usually do. We hit Titans Comics and visited there for a little bit. So any takeaways from that?
From Titans, Titans is just, it's I don't think that the store would blow anybody's mind. However, they do have a good selection of back issues. What's up, Scott? Yeah, so they do have a good selection of back issues. They do have a few hit and miss, Golden Age, Silver Age books in the case, and they usually have a sale about the same time with the anniversary.
Yeah.
I picked up and they do have a good selection of new books. So if you still read new books and you're missing like a random issue here or there, they do have a good selection of those as well. So I was able to take advantage of that.
Great selection of new stuff. I feel like if you're looking for anything from the 80s up to the present, they probably have it. I know the guy in the back, Howard, I believe his name was, definitely helped out with helping me find some books. And I mentioned to you before, I felt like they didn't have the biggest selection of Silver Age like I've seen in the past.
Yeah.
And and then, of course, I asked if they had any Golden Age books, and the guy said, I have two. He pulled them out. I looked at them. We couldn't come to a deal on one that I was interested in, but, that's it. I did pick up a few things there, I think, which are somewhere. So I picked up 3 Dale comics from there. Nice little Lost World, Tinkerbell, and Donald and Mickey vacationing at Disneyland. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Scott Hoarderside has a huge selection of 4-color stuff.
He does. I think he bought some from me at one time.
Many moons ago. I think on an auction. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
hey. But yeah, and like you, there was a couple of just random stuff that was on the want list, which I'll usually put in my CLZ app. Shelby, I'll put in my CLZ app, and
We're not sponsored by them.
if I'm looking at for something, if I'm in a shop that might have it, I'll just scan through that, and so I was able to pick up some things like that, but nothing, to write home to mom about. Nothing I'm going to get rich off of or nothing like that. So.
No, you picked up a pretty good stack of new stuff that I think you had said that not necessarily you put on your pull list, but you kind of keep up with it. I bought the magazine box and I ended up kind of filling that from the end of the weekend with autographed books and some other things. So, and then, so I didn't do any video because I drove straight in from Houston, picked up Southern, then we went straight to Titans. But if you want to, I've got about a 10-minute video and we can look at that real quick. Want to do that?
Let's roll.
All right. So I'm going to, and I'm going to cut down the music when it starts, and that way you and I can kind of give commentary and stuff.
Okay.
As we move along. So
this is the next day. This is Friday, right?
This is Friday.
Yep.
This is Friday. What's up, comic fan? So Summer Fun Tour, so 3. Here we are. Did you hold up 4 fingers? Southern Comic
Because I can't count.
Duncanville, I'm showing the door. I think I'm showing the door. Duncanville. We're about to go inside and see what funny books we can find before we go to the con. So come along. All right, so I'm cutting down the volume over here on my side. Now, we'll be dropping this video on my channel after the show, so y'all can rewatch it and stuff. Duncanville, I remember you and I planned Summer Fun Tour 1. We were talking about stores to go to. You and I both at the same time said, "Have you been to Duncanville?"
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, I mean, one of the best shops in that area. You can see a lot of new stuff here. But look at this. Look at this row of back issues on one side, $2 books on the other side.
Shelby looks high. Might have been. Yeah, and so they've got the $2 bins. A lot of their stuff is like either marked down to $5 or half off or whatever's marked on there. And then they got the standard stuff that's priced as marked. Good selection of trades, if figures or even some retro toys. They had a turtle dome.
We'll show that in a minute. I took a picture of it. But the other side with the 50% off, they had 4 or 5 boxes of 50% off slabs and stuff. I mean, it was really amazing. Great selection of toys, loose toys, especially. So anything you're looking for in Marvel, G.I. Joe, Transformers, you can Star Wars. You can find, this is the other room. So there's like 3 rooms. They've been doubling down a little bit on records. I was talking to Andy on Saturday. He said records has really been doing good for them.
Oh, yeah. I noticed they had some at the con too.
They did. A lot of statues. I couldn't tell you if the prices were good or bad. I'm probably going to be getting rid of a few. Tons of pops. Oh my God. They were overloaded with pops. I think that fad is kind of drifting.
Yeah,
I think that table there, they were $2 or something.
Yeah. Well, I think pops are much like new comics today, meaning that there's a big enough selection of them that they're not really rare, and so there's some that come out that are wanted. Therefore, it causes people to be interested in them and jack the price up a little bit, but most of them don't. So now this is a different store here.
Yep. So this is Keith's Comics, a new place for both of us. That was my buddy Tuck who told us about it, and we met him there. Again, Pops. Gosh. But I really like this store. It was very interesting. You can see concrete floors, tall ceiling, which we'll show in a second. Some paper, trade paperbacks, new books, which we'll see in a second. But not really boxes of back issues. They just stacked the back issues on the back wall. We'll look at in a minute, which was actually fun to go through. I loved it. Didn't you?
Yeah, it was a little different. Of course, I've learned a hard lesson that many, I'm sure, have before in being more watchful of what you're picking up, because I thought I was getting a screaming, smoking deal, and I didn't. Now, hey, Shelby, that Sentinel, the interesting thing about that.
I wanted that Sentinel bad, but it's $45.
So the interesting thing about that is that the art that created that was on sale on eBay, and it was pieced out by character. And I went after the Rogue piece. I know the guy who got the Storm and the Gambit piece. So he was there at Dallas Fan Expo. He was showing it to me.
Oh, but that back wall. So this is Dallas Fan Expo. But I'll pause real quick. Yeah. That back wall was kind of where they did their back issues, and really well priced, I thought, overall. I picked up a few things, and we'll show in a moment. But yeah, just a really cool store. I would definitely suggest it if you're ever in that area. All right, so here's the con. This is the line to get in on, I think, Saturday.
Yeah, Friday we basically just went on in, but and it was still, once people started coming in there, it was already crowded. But Saturday, we got there early and it was already just packed out.
Yeah. Friday was more packed than what it usually is to me. And several people said that. Again, I was talking to Andy at Duncanville. He said he had a real good Friday, that he had a lot more collectors hitting him up on Friday than usual. Mm-hmm. He said Saturdays are usually that's the people that were pre-registered coming in. I just kind of held the camera up and walked around a little bit. Nothing exciting. Comic book booths. I mean, there was Duncanville, there was Black Cat, there was a guy from New York, and one or two other little booths, but really it was a lot of this. A lot of other stuff.
And that's pretty standard these days with Comic Cons. They're filling in the various spaces that where the comic vendors aren't there. And we'll talk about this when we talk about what we liked or disliked about Fan Expo. But
Artist Alley. I walked right in the middle, so I was giving y'all an image of what the right and left look like. So it's a real big space in the very back, but not well managed. Also, really quick, sorry. I did screw up a couple of times videoing, where I thought I'd cut off the video, but actually I didn't. And then when I thought I was cutting it on, I was actually cutting it off. So I did not get here in the back. This is Carla Cohen. Super, 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 super nice.
Yeah, the one standing up.
And yeah, one standing up. Oh, I'm not sure if y'all can see my cursor. I guess y'all can't.
I don't see
standing up, and then sitting down here in the green and gray hat is Perillo, her husband.
Are they married?
Her and I talked about it. I said something about Perillo, and I'm not sure what his
Lucio, I think.
She said, well, he put a ring on it, and she held up her wedding ring.
Okay.
So apparently they have gotten married.
So wait a minute. So Shelby's talking to a lady And then all of a sudden, she's like quick to say something about putting a ring on it. You notice there's probably not no Ariel Diaz video footage in here,
There
folks.
is. The restraining order was lifted, and I do have a picture.
So
But
Tony
she
met,
was super
yeah,
nice.
Tony's seen both of them at
Yeah, in
Lake Como.
Italy. But she said she remembered Tony and that he was really nice, and for me to give him a present. But since he made that smart ass comment, I'm keeping it for myself. Perillo was super nice. These were the only two artists that first three signatures were free. After that, it's only like $5. Super affordable. That isn't one. You've got one complaint, which we both do, but the cost of signatures, I thought was a bit outrageous. I mean, what happened to the good old days of, one or two being free and stuff like that? Another person I did not get video of that I had done the same mistake was David Nakayama. Super nice guy too. Super nice guy.
And we won't share on air what Shelby said, but
he thought it's funny. So, and he wasn't even going to charge me. I went and got I brought a couple of books, but then I saw another book that he had done, and I'll show that in a minute. And I took it over there to him, get it signed. He wasn't even going to charge me for it. And I was like, no, here, go ahead, take the $10, whatever. I already had it out. And, he thanked me and stuff. But anyway, so those three people I didn't get on the video. Sabine Rich, you were standing right beside me. And you should be happy I cut out all the video I had of your ass. And there's Jay Lee.
Why were you looking at my rear?
I thought I'd cut off the damn video, and I had my camera down. And so I have about 5 minutes of your ass.
Wow.
Paul Jansen was super nice.
Oh yeah.
Super nice. You could not get up to Joseph Loeb. And this is Art Adams, but he was in the bathroom when I went by. So,
well, the guy you just saw standing up behind the booth, that's Jason, the art rep for Essential Sequential. So the guy, the owner of it, I guess.
I really like the little flashy boxes. Those were really cool. And I just kind of took a little scan around where I was standing. A lot of these art things. This is Unknown Comics booth, and then some hot chick saying hi.
So I think that Unknown Comics, like talking about their booth, like they got it figured out. Like, okay, they don't have to worry about people stealing stuff. They got the big banners there. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
That's a little sign saying he's not there. Yeah, I agree.
So the voice of Gambit was there, and the voice of Rogue was there, and neither one were on the Fan Expo website. They were a guest of Comic Elite, and so it was interesting that they didn't even bother to put it.
Right over there near
and so what you just saw was the voice of Tony Daniels. That's the new Gambit. Not the same as the Tony Daniel artist. Daniels as in plural.
Okay, yeah.
And so they were sitting beside each other. Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were on break. I mean, a lot of posters, a lot of stuff, like I need more knickknacks in my life.
Yeah, right.
Booty shorts. And again, I'm just walking around, and Carlos alert. I did not even see him. And then he's poking me right now and saying, "Hey, Shelby." And his two brand new kids that he just adopted. They were lovely girls. These were kind of cool. Like if I had more space for just wood, I mean, this whole area was kind of cool. These little statues, if you're into this anime type of things, they were super affordable. I think like $15-$30. This lady did not want to be on camera. She walked away real quick. I did not get any videotape except for this of people's comics in the area. I just wasn't thinking. This is the celebrity area. This girl, she was super nice. And so I think he still has a flip phone. I'm almost sure it's still a flip phone, but Jonathan Frakes was super nice. I was standing there and I was seeing if Shatner was at his table, and he walks up and sits at his table. And I'm surprised because he just kind of walks in front, in front of the camera. He just says hi, starts talking to me. Super nice guy. So really couldn't be happier with meeting Jonathan Frakes. Shatner was down there. I kind of waved at him. He was pretty nice. I love Alan Tudyk. He was super cool. He waved at me. And then I got in trouble by Adam Savage. Yeah.
Wow. He did.
Gina Davis was super nice.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only celebrities because no one else was at their table. Rojbesh was kind of nice, but you couldn't. Andy was nice. Andy and I talked about his dad for a little bit because I met his dad about 2 months before he died. He was at a show in Houston, and Joe Kubert could not have been a more pleasurable person to talk to. His son, Adam, was with him. Adam was super nice. He did a panel that I did the video for there at the con. He signed a bunch of books for me. Joe Kubert was so nice. And then 2 months later, he passed away. So Andy and I talked about that a little bit, and it was really a nice conversation.
What kind of original art did he have right there in front of him?
I have no idea because I was standing in the line for Rojbesh, and Paul happened to be right behind me.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry. So Tony mentioned something about signatures when you were talking about signatures. Said John Boy Myers wanted 60. I didn't get anything from John Boy. I was planning on it, which I'll kind of tell a little bit later why that kind of got derailed. But
Stephen Platt was super cool, and this is where I thought I turned off my camera, but I didn't. And I have about 20 minutes of video of my phone sitting face down on his table. So,
but yeah, so I don't know what he didn't charge that much last year. I think it was last year he was.
I don't think so.
But might have been year 4 last. But anyway, he didn't charge that much then. So let's talk about signatures. So obviously the market can kind of determine whether or not what they charge for a signature. Everybody is up to it's a free country. They can choose to charge whatever they want to for the signatures, and we as consumers can choose whether not to pay it.
So Carla asked me to give this to Antonio. But with his remark, I think this is mine now. So
nice.
I'll change my name. So
the thing with Andy Kubert's, and he wasn't the only one, but his was pretty egregious. So if you wanted him to sign a X-Men 266, it was $60. And so then Michael Golden. Now, Andy Kubert, you can kind of say, all right, well, he don't go as many of these smaller cons. So, charge whatever you want. He's still a relevant artist, relevant to today, meaning he's still doing work today.
Right.
So, but then Michael Golden, how much work is he doing these days? And
I know of.
And for Renee to charge more for certain books than others, I mean, it just really off-putting. And, like Shelby was saying, Like, what's wrong with, especially if it's like three random books, like three books, you know, that this is coming from a collector's mindset. This is coming from somebody that's probably going to bury this in a PC somewhere. And that, you know, they're not going to even, especially if they're not even getting CGC to witness it. And for them to just kind of do it like that is very, very off putting. I like John Jang as an example. Um, and John Jang sells some of his variants at his booth, but it is kind of a whatever move when you charge $40 for a book and then you're going to charge $20 on top of that for your signature. I mean, if I bought the book from there, at least
Rose was Rose was expensive for that. Like the same books I was getting signed, she was selling at her table for $40, and I think her signature was extra on top of that. So hey, Carlos. So I just dropped the YouTube channels, and I think they just kind of squeezed together. If you're over on Southern's channel, jump over to mine, give me a sub and a like and all that stuff. And if you're on my channel and you're not sub Southern, jump over to his channel and give him a sub and a like. I know that we both will appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know if he will or not. I imagine he will, but it's pretty standard nowadays. And again, I'm not horribly opposed to people signing or charging for the signatures, especially if it's like an elder statesman, say like a Steranko, which he has a really pretty signature anyway. But I mean, you think about some of these guys. I mean, it's just so whatever to charge the outrageous prices.
Yeah. All right. So while we were at Duncanville, these were some things I picked up at the store there. I'm not sure if I have this or not, but I've been working on the full set of Atlas comics. So this was a great grade. The red dot meant 50% off, all these 50% off. I'm also working on a set of the first issue specials, and I'm not sure if I have this one, but again, high grade, 50% off. Anytime I see these older Archie comics, The Fly in high grade, I picked those up. Really nice Hawkman number 5. So the centerfold is attached at the bottom staple, but hey, you know, I do conservation, so I don't care. Really beautiful photo cover, Gene Autry and Champion. Really like this book. It's very clean. So those that don't know this little thing here, those of y'all from the 70s probably remember these ads.
Why don't you make yourself, put me over to the side and make yourself bigger so people can see?
Oh gosh. So some of y'all will remember these from the ads in comic books. If you don't know, this art and these books were put out by the Kubert School. So you have some of the earliest artwork of a lot of professionals that went uncredited that became, you know, pretty famous artists and stuff. So this is a pretty neat little piece of history from the Kubert School. The students, you know, did all the art and stuff for these. So it's really cool. Sniffy the Pup. I mean, you got to get that. So how to cook hot dogs and a hot dog. Anyway, this was cool. I actually did a little research on this, Jason. So the Shadow we think about, they did start with the Shadow. This is his new costume to kind of update him in the 60s to help boost sales.
Yeah, because we were talking about the little saying that's on the book. You know, it's the saying of the Shadow, but we knew that the costume was different.
Yeah, so they did an update of the costume when they had this license. But I thought these were neat. You don't see them too often. And then these you don't see very often. This is from Power Comics. They're not even real covers. They're like newsprint covers. So it's really hard to find these. Again, Power Comics. And then who don't love Flipper? Flipper.
Faster than lightning.
And then I'm working on a set of these Marvel Classic comics, and I wasn't sure if I had this one, but again, half price, clean book. I picked it up.
So why weren't you sure you had it, Shelby?
Because I can't find my comic list. I put it someplace where I wouldn't forget it, and I don't remember where that place was.
If only there was a way that you could put all that information.
We are not. We're they're not a sponsor.
Well, I didn't call their name. I'm just saying if there was only a way you could put it all on your phone.
I did pick these up at Geek's. I missed this when it came out, so I was able to pick that up. And then my other two things from Geek's. I have the Wonder Woman of this. I love promotional books, so this is Pizza Hut. Southern Comic Geek has the Batman, which if I can't find it, then he's going to Thunder of God. I need to find the Batman, but I didn't know there's a Superman and Batman. So anyway, and then this is really cool. This was a Mexican version of a cool Batman. So Batty comic. It's a Batty comic. All right. So about you. You got anything you want to show off before we look at some other things?
Well, the only thing that I picked up was that I'm going to show off are the what I picked up at Fan Expo. So I didn't know if I was getting ahead of your schedule.
No. I mean, I just had a few signatures. So this is my sign number, Dark Knight. I did get Claudius Jansen to sign under Frank Miller. He's very happy to do that. Stephen Platt, great signature. This is the book I went back and got David Nakayama to sign, which was this Josie and the Pussycats. Rose Besh, great signature. Great signature. Oh, and
Craig's not here.
And Ariel Diaz, so she did sign something for me, so you can see that I'm not.
Was her hand shaking when you signed it?
Was not, and just to prove it, she
blew you a kiss.
She took a picture with
it. That's the sign for help. like if you're being kidnapped, this is the sign for help.
So anyway, Kevin McGuire, I wanted to meet him. He was super nice. I got some books signed by Kevin McGuire. He was super nice. And apparently I bought these brand new metallic pens.
Yeah.
I didn't test them out, but apparently the ink is dried in all of them. Yay, thank you, Amazon. Carla Cohen was super nice, and she gave a little embellishment on the signature she did for me. Cut me a deal on her Mud Honey. All right, Michael Golden. So apparently, if he's got to sign a number 1, he's going to charge you $35. It was, now I did talk to him on Saturday, and he was a lot nicer. Jack. Oh, and he's got gas. But I asked him to sign on her leg, and he signed it up here. Oh, thank you, Michael Golden. Yang, say what you want. He's got a horrible signature.
Yeah, he does have a horrible signature.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Super great guy. Steve Niven?
McNiven.
Is that right?
McNiven.
Super nice guy. Jay Lee. I had several of these that were already signed by Campbell. I got Sabine Rich to sign them. She was super nice. and Perillo. Super nice. All right, that's it for my sign stuff.
So I usually when I go to get stuff or go to these cons, I've got a long box of not literally, but a short box of people to see.
You had a very empty-ish wagon compared to previous years.
So a lot of that stemmed from the fact that I didn't buy any comics outside of like a couple that were picked up from the people's booths themselves. I didn't buy any comics from any vendors while I was there. I didn't really do much hunting, as it were. And so, I picked up those books at the shops that we went to before. But I was on best behavior until I got to Sean Gordon Murphy's table. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I went to Jonathan Glapian's table, which I have a couple of pieces of art that him and Greg Capullo did. And I picked up these real nice graphic novels.
Hold on, let me make you big.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, so this is the death metal one. I actually own a page, an issue from this. He signed it. Not sure why he chose purple.
Oh my God, can barely see it.
You can barely see it. And it actually comes with a map, or it came with a map of like the redesigned world of death metal. And so that was pretty neat. And it comes in this case that looks kind of like a metallic, toolbox or whatever. So that was kind of nice. I've talked or emailed and corresponded with his wife on back when I bought that last page from him. And so they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember you." I was like, "Yeah, your wife is definitely a drug pusher because she tries to get me to buy more stuff." And then I've got this right here. This is the absolute Batman Court of Owls, one of the best Batman stories of all time in my consideration. And on this one, I got him to do a remark and signature with a little talon there. And then these are really nice. They got little bookmarks to go with them. And I will forewarn you, you want to be sure to divide them out like you do in omnibus, so you don't have like a split in the binding. But this is the Court of Owls series, and I was going to show. All right, so that's issue 3. Here's issue 2. So issue 2 is the first appearance of the Talon. This is the first page he was on. This is the first fight scene. I own this page. It's actually over there on my wall. And so we were talking about that page and all that stuff while I was there. So these were pretty neat. And
so it's kind of cool though, right? It's like, an artist gets to meet the person that face to face who bought a page from them. So it kind of, oh my God, Jack. So it adds something personal to the whole.
Yeah, to the whole online experience thing, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, here's my book, my Valiant sketchbook. This time I only got one in here, and it's of Roku. And I forewarned this young lady. I said, "Hey, this is what all the other people told me." And so she thought she was going to tackle it and by her own admission, it was a lot harder than what she figured. I'm like, well, you were forewarned. So it actually took her all day. I didn't get that book back until Saturday. And so with that, I was already about ready to hit the road. And I was done. And I was like, I'm not going to get nobody else. Plus, I'd already spent enough money on the last piece that I'm going to show. But so normally I don't do.
Be sure and say hi. Say hi to Thunder God.
I said hi to him earlier.
I know you did.
So normally I don't cross streams, but I didn't realize that Lenore Zam was going to be there. I've got 2 pops Gambit and a Rogue One that I would have liked to have gotten signed had I known that, Comics Elite. But anyway, this time I made an exception. I happen to have this page in my portfolio because Ralph Macchio, who not to be confused with the Karate Kid, who was the writer on the X-Men Adventures back in the 90s comic book, is going to be a hero. So I'd already got because this is a quick turnaround, right? Because, I came in yesterday afternoon, you got the weekend. I'm going to be at work all day Monday. I'm flying out Tuesday morning to North Carolina. And so, I already had this lined up. And so I happened to be in there, got Rogue fighting against Avalanche there. This is the last page of that issue. And so I got her to sign up there. Hey, sugar. And so she signed it and put a little heart in her name. Yeah. So I'm still going to get Ralph. Andrew Wildman, who was the artist, has already signed it. And I'm going to get Ralph Macchio to sign it too.
Yeah. So y'all be sure and go sub up over on Southern's IG. You can see a picture of him with that art, and Laura's on there. So very cool.
This was the big purchase. So I blame Tony NY for this because in an art chat that we're in, he had gone to Lake Como and had, which I love. I'm kind of tongue in cheek telling him that, but just being able to look at being able to look at some of this art that he was showing off. So at Sean Gordon Murphy's table, it was flipped up and it had this page here. And I was just looking at it. I'm like, man, that is an awesome page. So Sean Gordon Murphy was there in Dallas, got to talking with his art agent who was there, and flipped over. And guess what? This page had not sold. I was hoping that it had, honestly. And so this page just has so much going for it. Every single panel has a story to tell. And so I spent like 15 minutes last night. I didn't tell my wife what I paid for it, but I spent 15 minutes last night telling my wife like the backstory and why this page makes a difference and why like this is this way in this kind of universe for Batman. And so, you got the dynamic duo right here. And if you look over here to look at their shadows, it's as a boy, a man and a boy. So kind of a callback to him being Robin. They're jumping in just like they would have back in the day, which if you read the White Knight series, and this is beyond the White Knight, if you've read this series, you kind of get the idea of like what's brought them to this point. So for them to be able to just, after all this time, just sync back up just like that, like old times, is great. They jump over. He throws him a grenade, which he grabs and promptly throws into the tank. So if you're going to get Sean Gordon Murphy art, you want vehicles because that's what he's good at. And you won't see it on here, but when he throws this in here, this little canister, it literally has bomb written on it. Okay. If you think about like the 66 Batman and the shark repellent.
It didn't say bat bomb.
Right? It should have, huh? And so this one like has them running away from the explosion, which was kind of epic. And then like the last scene, them back to back, facing the Wayne Tech, which again, if you haven't read the series, I won't spoil it all for you. But so I had a prelim cover, which his prelims are pretty close most of the time to what his original covers were that I had won off of Heritage. But I never thought I'd get a cover, let alone one that had just so much action. He had a fantastic Turtles 1 and a Transformers 1 page. But his art, and it goes with the story because a lot of the art that I buy is the story that I read that goes along with it. There's sometimes that I get like examples just because I like the person that does its art. And it might like say Jim Lee. I've got a Jim Lee sketch of Batman because Jim Lee pages are too expensive. But normally when I collect a page of art, it's because the story that goes along with it, because I'm still a reader. and is usually the store connected with it. So this was the big whatever, and like so I walked away with the page, and then I'm on my way home on I-20 and watching Comic Art Live on the YouTube on my phone because I know there's a Bart Sears page while I'm driving. And so there's actually several Bart Sears pages, 2 Turoks that are going up. I'd already seen them. I already tried to get the inside track. Bill Cox wouldn't give it to me. But he did tell me that it was on the higher end of the total of what he was asking for all the pages. Both pages were great in their own way. One was from issue 1 of Turok, which I have like 200 plus copies of. And then one was from issue 2. Both were great in their own way. And I couldn't really decide. So somebody helped me in the chat and claim the other one. So that helped me decide which one I was going to get. So Bill Cox is going to be bringing that to Heroes next week. And I'm going to be meeting him there. I've already paid him for it. And I'll just pick up the pages there. And Bart Sears happened to announce yesterday that he was also going to be at Heroes. He was a last-minute addition to the deal. Hoarders Hide mentioned that earlier, and so he's going to be there. So we'll see what we can get because it would be great. I haven't got a Turok in the Valiant book yet. If I can get him to do a Turok, just saying. But anyway, we'll see what the cards have laid out for us. I've already spent enough money as it is, but hey, I'm going for broke. So yeah,
the kids don't have to eat this coming month. It's okay.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, if I go to any other cons this year, like when I say cons, I mean like a travel to big con. I'm kind of tentatively hoping to go to Baltimore, which I hear is another good comic centric con. Now, let's talk about Dallas Fan Expo. In full disclosure, Dallas Fan Expo gives us a media pass, okay, to shoot footage and tell us our stuff, put like prior to the con on the various media platforms, and then also after the con. Okay. So having said that, overall, they are pulling in the people. They're a big enough entity now with Fan Expo and all the cons. You know, they own MedicaCon, among others, that they can get contracts with these people to appear at so many locations, various ones across the United States and Canada. So in that sense, it's great. Okay. It's great that they put the celebrities and all that down there. So that kind of takes them off of the playing field when it comes to Artist Alley. However, there are some hangups. One of the hangups is Artist Alley. It is a crap show. And I get it that there's only so much layout and they're trying to squeeze every single booth because you're charging $1,500 a booth in there. And you're trying to squeeze every booth in there you can. The problem, if you go to the celebrities, every single celebrity, regardless of whether they're like a William Shatner type or if they're just like a random voice actor, they've got lines set up, tapes on the floor.
Tape on the floor.
Yep. Yeah. They've got workers out there making sure you're going to stay in line, that you're not getting out of line. They've got all that stuff going on down there. Meanwhile, back at the ranch on the comic side, it's a crap show. And so when you have an Art Adams, a David Finch, and a Jeff Loeb all on one side, that becomes a problem. And so there's no there's no rhyme or reason. Like you're just like asking everybody, are you in this line? Are you in this line? Are you in this line? And so you try to figure it out. And then
people are blocking us, like when we're trying to get up there to Sabine Rich and Klaus Janson and them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had that new artist that was next to Sabine, and she was really aggravated at it.
Well, I feel for them too, because people start blocking their table, and then people aren't going to their table.
Right.
And so then you have David Nakayama on the same side. I mean, you had some big names. So thank you, Fan Expo, for bringing the big names. But you need to treat their big names better. And to treat them better is to treat the fan better, because the fan needs to have a really good experience and it not to be a crap show. I feel like that there's more credence to, and fiscally, probably because there's more money. If you looked at that panorama that Shelby did of the celebrity area, it was definitely full of people paying an awful lot of money for signatures. Whereas at the booth for the artist, it might be just a couple of signatures. It might be picking up a comic. It might be just talking to them about their stuff. It's not necessarily a financial transaction. It is always a financial transaction on the celebrity side of it.
Even if you had one handler per 4 artists or something, right? Like me trying to get to David Nakayama that first time, and when I got in line, the person in front of me had 50 freaking books. And then his girlfriend next to him had another 50 books. And I'm like, seriously? Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something where if you had a handler, they could say, hey, look, you're going to need to drop this off. Here's what it costs. He'll get to it. You need to come back in a couple of hours. I mean, it was very aggravating.
Yeah, for sure. And that would have probably sped things up through the line a lot more, because, what if the handler looked behind there and saw how many books you got? 2? Okay, let him come ahead and go ahead of you.
Yeah.
Versus having to sit there and take all that time up for that. And when all the lines start converging, you already got BO at these at these events. Thankfully, the air was working this year. It did not work last year.
The air was good this year. I'll admit that. I had the same thing with Carla Cohen. A guy had like 30 or so books to sign, and she signs everything. I think he wanted it in the paint pen. So, of course, then he's laying out these 30 books all across her table, and you got to wait them to dry. And it was.
Hey, you hear me talking?
It was horrible.
Okay. Yeah, it is hard. It was horrible. So, I mean, those are the things. I know they don't want to lose booth space, and I know all those little knick-knack, paddywhack things are booth payers too. But it just seems like some of them are a little more centric to like the celebrity side. So why don't you take and put those over there by the celebrities?
I think they just need to pay us about $5,000. We can rearrange their map for them and come up with a much better solution than what they have.
Well, overall, I hope that. Oh yeah, exactly, Tony. You think about some place like New York Comic Con. I mean, that's so much bigger of a show than what Fan Expo is. You got to have some kind of rhyme or reason to it. But I think that if they simply lined it out a little bit better, had a couple of handlers that were kind of making sure to keep the peace and the direction.
If they had some knowledge of what an artist could attract in terms of people, to have Art Adams and Loeb right beside each other who drew large lines was ridiculous.
Well, the reason why they were on the same side is because they're rep by the same people. So they were trying to keep Essential Sequential people together. They were trying to keep Scott's Collectibles people together, because they're providing their own handlers too, not Fan Expo. And so it benefits Fan Expo, because then they don't have to have all these handlers per se, or all these volunteers, because they're bringing their own. And they're more apt to be able to answer questions that people ask, as opposed to what some of the other ones do. So, some of it made sense, but I just think that if they would widen the aisles a little bit, I think it would make it a lot more pleasurable. Overall, again, I hope that Fan Expo, and it does seem to be growing bigger every year as far as like the attracting.
I don't know. Yeah, I felt their attendance was larger this year than what it was last year. All right, so I've got a small stack of comics, and then we can. So this is what I bought at Fan Expo. So first, anytime I see these, I pick them up. I'm not sure if I have this or not, but this was at Andy's booth, Duncanville. I love these book and record sets.
So you don't know if you have it or not?
I've always wanted this book. I love the cover.
Yeah.
Iron Fist was one of my favorite characters growing up, and so this happened in between his first appearance, I think, was a Marvel premiere, and then they did this in the magazine, and then he got his own series.
So you know what that's the first appearance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, White Tiger. So
yes.
First Puerto Rican character in Marvel, and mine is signed by Chris Claremont and Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin did a pinup in there. Chris Claremont wrote a story. That was one that I wish I would have grabbed and sent with the last books that got signed by George Perez, but unfortunately it didn't happen.
So speaking of Iron Fist, digging around through someone's boxes, they have this really nice 30-cent price variant for only $25.
Oh, okay, cool.
And they knew the price variant, but yeah, this is probably about $120 book, so very clean. I'm trying to work on this whole set, so I picked up this nice Peanuts book. That was cool. I'm also trying to work on this set, which is the Christian Spire comics. So this is an upgrade for me for the Tom Landry. And then I don't have this one, Archie's Family album. So glad to get those. All right.
Well, and so Tony mentions about he had waited till a little bit later and maybe things have been calmer. You know, one of the other problems, and again, I know it's all because they're trying to squeeze every dollar they can out of it, but is the scheduling since last year. And I know what it is. It's Whatnot. And so Whatnot's a big sponsor. And so instead of saying, hey, this person's here from 9 o'clock till 4, whatever, it's all these weird hours. It's 9 to 11, and then from 1 to 2, and then from 4 to 6. And so, like, it's very hard for somebody who just wants signatures or just wants to talk to the artist, whatever, to visit their booth because they're over at a Whatnot show.
Well, and it wasn't just Whatnot this year. They had eBay Live.
eBay Live, yeah.
They had that there too. I love me some Dell and Gold Key. I've never seen this before. This is one of those thick gold keys that are hard to find that isn't, just manhandled across the spine and stuff. So I was really happy to grab this.
So there's only like 3 decent sized comic booths. Which one did you pick that up at? Duncanville or the other two?
That was Duncanville. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll finish out the Duncanville then. Got this from Duncanville, Weird Mysteries. Beautiful book. That's a 1.0 because the cover is detached and completely split.
Is this a workable book?
This is going to be a project for me. Yeah. So I'm going to enjoy this project. So this will be coming up. Stay tuned to my channel to see me conserving this Weird Mysteries. So, and I don't want to screw this book up. So I'm going to be getting a few extra supplies and stuff to work this book. So stay tuned. What else did I get from? That was it from him. Now, this guy that's right across from him had a few cool Golden Age books. So I got this Target Comics. You never see these. This is a war. This is from 1943, I believe. So this is right in the middle of World War II. So it's a victory cover, which are always highly desirable, and I love these stamps.
What kind of stamp was that on there?
This says Bonnet's, Ohio's largest dealer.
Is that the Bonnet bookstore?
Yes.
Okay.
So very cool World War II book. And then I picked up, this is my first Master Comics. So Captain Marvel Jr. is in Master Comics, and then of course his own book, Captain Marvel Jr. And so yeah, I negotiated to get this book because I don't have a Master Comics in my collection yet. So I was really happy to get that. Then I went over to Alley Cat, who's been hooking up with Monsters Lair the past couple of years because Boyd's just getting kind of old. For Monsters Lair, which is, I'm not going to remember his name. I picked up this Wiz Comics 84, which is really cool. Cover, a little sun faded, but. And then from Alley Cat, this is a kind of cool. This is an Atlas comic, so pre-Marvel Mystic Tales. Kind of a classic cover. The man that can walk through walls. Then I picked up this really nice pre-code Golden Age Hand of Fate. And then lastly, I picked up this book, kind of the big book of the lot that I bought, Web of Mystery. So really cool pre-code horror book. So yeah, really happy with that. Like I said, just, you know, it's kind of a big purchase. So that's it.
What's going on, Liz Barnes, president, founding member, and only member of the Paul Fan Club? Thank you for joining us. And after I made that big purchase and just kind of thinking, because I had Heroes coming up, a lot of my signature books kind of took a back set. You start having to make life decisions, right? But ran into all kinds of people. Obviously, Shelby and I were both there. But
who else you need?
But Carlos collects Paul Comics. There was Michael Pressis was there. Mark,
and Nola was there. Bumped into him a couple times.
Who?
And that's name Nola. What?
No, Nola Comics is somebody totally different. So Who Dat Comics was there. Tony Sanders was there. And so I didn't realize, but Erod 212 was there. I see he's a long way from home. But yes, I seen he post on his IG that he was actually there. But Batman statue collector Chris was there. Got to talk with him. He actually me and him talked about that Sean Gordon Murphy piece and talked. He actually did. So I might be in a video, follow-up video that he does for Dallas Fan Expo. But anyway, so yeah, it was a fun time overall. And JT, which is somebody that generally, I don't know if JT has a YouTube channel, but I know that he generally will appear over on Carlos's channel. I know he has IG presence. So a lot of different people got to meet. Heroes is going to be even bigger when it comes to that. So then I'm thinking, like, how am I ever going to get anything done? I do have 2 full days with Heroes, but still, I don't know how I'm going to ever do that. Yeah, Liz, I was telling Shelby before we went live about that. So for everybody else, what Liz is talking about, Houdat had taken his X-Men 1, talking about the first appearance of Magneto, so on and so forth, X-Men 1. And he took it to CBCS, who had a booth there, to get reholdered, and now it's missing. So it's kind of sucks. Like if I'm Russell, I'm like, okay, who's going to give me a new X-Men 1?
I'm sure there's some kind of insurance thing or something with them, I would think.
Yeah, thankfully it's not in the mail, because if it was in the mail, you have to deal with postal insurance.
So real quick, I dropped each of our channels in here. So if you're over on Southern's channel, hey, please jump over here to my channel and give me a sub and a like and all that good stuff. I'd really appreciate it. One of these days, I'd love to get to 1,000 subs. If you're over here on my channel, please jump over to Southern Comic Geek's channel and give him a sub and a like and all that. He'd really appreciate it. Think it was stolen? Yeah, I mean, the way Southern told me is first they said it was already picked up, which to me is different than it went missing, because how could it have been picked up if you've got that sheet of paper saying, I'm here to pick this up, right? They would have that sheet of paper as a receipt of it being picked up. But yeah, probably being stolen in CBCS's care would definitely fall under some kind of compensation, I would think.
Oh yeah, I would definitely think so.
But anyway,
so we're go ahead.
No, I was just saying, so you're going to Fan Expo this weekend, so we can't wait to see what you're going to bring from that. I'm not sure what is my next show is going to be. I'm not sure. I know there's something going on in Austin, and so I might go there. I also heard about something in San Antonio, and I might go there too. But yeah, otherwise, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah, Heroes Con coming up this week. Actually meeting Scott and hopefully some other folks Thursday night. I'll be there with work starting Tuesday. And so starting Thursday night, we're going to go eat with them. The con starts early Friday morning, which I like, by the way. And so get there Friday morning early, got all day. Saturday, I got all day. I actually fly out Sunday morning. So it's first time ever at Heroes. I've always heard nothing but great things about it. Hopefully it lives up to it as far as an art and comic show. And then top all off, all these people that you see at, video wise, being able to meet them in person. Some I've met already, like Dustin with Two Brothers and Mark with Legion of Comics. But meeting them again and, new people that I haven't met before. It promises to be a great time. So we'll see what all we can get or stay out of trouble with this weekend. And I'll more than likely be going live at various times over on my IG, and I'm sure everybody's already following me over there. So
yeah, well, I can't wait. I can't wait. That is one of my bucket list shows, along with New York Comic-Con to go to. So yeah, I'm pretty jelly.
Yeah, there's a few bucket lists. When you think about a comic convention, at least me. So they have OAX now, which is a total art convention. So now that one's added to the list for me. But I think Heroes, C2E2, MegaCon, New York, San Diego.
I don't really care about San Diego.
Well, yeah, but that's like the was at the motherland or something, I mean, between them and New York, they were the first. And well, yeah, I hope so, Liz. I mean, obviously they have more stuff than just comics now, but there was a lot of kids there, not just cosplaying kids. There was kids going along with their parents to pick up books. And so I'm like, yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of strollers. There's a lot of kids. That's usually your Saturday people, from the way Andy was explaining it to me. He said he doesn't do a lot of sales on Saturdays. They're mostly Friday, Sunday. If anything, people are buying stuff as a souvenir or something like that. But
right.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea too, because I'm with you. Is why not open that show at noon, man? Maybe that would help with maybe some of the crowding or something.
Yeah, it'll let some of those early birds come through and kind of work their way through the snake, and they'll get tired because, like, the typical comic collectors are mine and your age, and so we're not getting any younger. So we're gonna get wore out. I mean, I know Shelby's
I
feet were barking. His dogs were barking.
barking, buddy.
And so he's like, I'm out of here. And what's up, Meow Meow? Meow Meow is going to be at Heroes Con as well. So, but yeah, so I mean, you let them kind of go through and do their thing, and then the people with the nightlife, the younger folks, the people that were working, just getting in late, come in, can do that. I think that would help too, help with congestion. Thanks for Stan, collecting with Stan, account formerly known as Stanables, who crossed over 1,000 subs. Now he's doing a lot of knives. I guess he was kind of cut out for that. But
yep. And again, if y'all are not subbed to me, get over here to my channel and drop me a sub, please.
So you mentioned
help
something.
Brother out.
You mentioned something about San Antonio, or Austin. The Galaxy Con, there's not even a Galaxy Con in Austin this year. There was last year. So I don't know if they just canceled
thought there was.
I'm on Galaxy Con's website.
Are you?
Yeah. It was there last year because I went down there. Now there's a Space Con that's got more celebrities and stuff.
Oh, Space Con is what I was thinking of. Yes. Space Con is every year.
There's a bunch of Star Wars folks, if that is your thing. I'm trying to see if there's any. Yeah, okay. Then they got Star Trek folks there.
Yeah. Space Con.
That's it.
Now I'll probably be going to Oak Con, which is in Oklahoma. Which
is a big comic show too.
October. Say it again.
That's a big comic show too, ain't it?
It is one of the classic old school comic shows. Been going on since I think 1974, 75, something like that. So I did drop my link, Liz.
Yeah. I normally go to Memphis every year, which is in the end of October. There is another con in Chattanooga that I talked to the owner of the comic shop there. He was a vendor at not Dallas, whatever the last con I was at. And he told me, he said, hey, yeah, just reach out to me. I'll give you a press pass and you can come. They're having a show up there.
Where at?
In Chattanooga.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know if I end up going to that one this year. Depends on who all Memphis has got. Memphis is a more traditional comic show too.
Yeah, Memphis is more traditional, and I've always heard great stuff about that con. But yeah.
So they've already got signed. This is the people they've already got signed up for Memphis. Michael Cho, Mitch Gerards, Frank Cho, Larry Hama, Ariel Diaz, Chris Mooneyham, Lena Kanagas, Daryl Banks, who's probably best known for his Green Lantern stuff back in the day, Kevin Nolan. I don't know. They got some James O'Barr, best known for his Crow stuff. Kyle Baker, Maria Wolf, don't know her. Ron Mars, the writer for Silver Surfer and Green Lantern back in the day. They got a couple of voice actors, which they started doing last year. And I'm like, I don't like where this is heading. Hey, Tony said it, not me. Tony said it, not me. See what Tony said?
Yeah.
It's probably a pretty safe. It probably is a pretty safe bet. She's like, I see you everywhere, and you're like, what a coincidence.
I just pulled it up on my YouTube, and I don't know, it's showing there, but here it is. You should be able to see it underneath me. So please, those of y'all that haven't subbed to me.
Oh, she don't see it because you posted it. She's over on my channel, so let me post it just in case if that'll fix it. There we go. So she should see it now if she didn't see it before. So yeah, I mean, Memphis is a pretty good show, but Baltimore is another one of those bucket list shows.
Baltimore is your mecca in a way of comics because you have Diamond City there. Then there used to have the great museum that was there.
Oh yeah.
The guy that owned Diamond had a museum, but that closed out a couple of years ago. But yeah, definitely, I think Baltimore is a good little hub of comic dumb.
Well, why don't you fly into Baltimore and let's meet up?
I would love to.
So BLC said that just subbed, and so did Liz Barnes. So there
Thank you.
But yeah, so BLC, look, BLC. Anytime I wonder, like, what am I doing with my life, and you know, I say, like, I got way too much stuff. I see BLC and the Cat's Den, and I say, no, BLC has way more than me. Because there's like mounds of Pops. I think one day we're going to be watching do a video and like Pops are just going to fall all over him and he's going to be buried alive.
He's going to die from an avalanche of Pops.
And yeah, and then like he'll have like 100 slabs over here on the side. And then like when he does a show, I don't even think he gets prepared for it. I think he just looks over here and says, all right, this one didn't pan out for me at CGC. Let's start this off at $1 or whatever. So, Tony and Y, Baltimore show, good for art. That's what I hear. I've never been before, but I hear it's good art show and comic show of the more traditional sense. Like if you think about, that's what it's been explained to me. I can neither confirm nor deny. Yeah, Tony says BLC is a great guy. I think the Matchbox cards will get him. See, that's what I'm saying. He's got Matchbox cards. He's got comics. He's got this all elusive DC book that it's a ghost book. He doesn't even know if it exists or not to complete his series of. But we'll see if BLC ever gets that over on his channel. But yeah, New York would be, and so see, like New York would be one that I could get like my kids to go to. So I think that like if I go to Baltimore this year, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to drive instead of fly, and I'll convince my wife that would be a good family vacation at the same time.
Baltimore has an amazing aquarium. And it's got a really good train system, so you could go over to DC and do that. So,
yeah, and just like make the weekend of it, right? So, because they got an all-star list as well. The only other thing that I didn't show is my start to a jam piece that I got from Tom Grummett. I got him to draw me a Superboy, and I'm going to get like the Dan Jurgens hopefully this week to do a Cyborg Superman, and John Bogdanove one day I'll see him again and I'll get him to do a John Henry Irons Man of Steel. So because I had this huge idea, I even scratched it out, did the layouts for this huge commission I wanted Tom Grummett to do. But since you can't get artist reps that are supposed to help the artists make money easier to call you back, then, this is what I have to resort to, getting this at a convention. So, yep, I call them out on Facebook, call them out in front of thing, and try to shame him. No shame in his game. And they're like, oh, well, he's overworked. That's like, well, how's he doing you a favor when he's overworked? Just saying. But anyway, but yeah, Tom and Nancy are like super nice. And so, what are you going to do? They're not going to say anything bad. But that's all I've got. We've been at this for an
That's
hour and
it.
19 minutes. I
Yeah,
do
that's
appreciate
it.
everybody for hanging out, whether you hung out with us on either channel. And BLC says, yeah, he's been to Baltimore 3 times. So yeah, BLC hits the heavy big cons too. Yeah, but so on talking about heroes, some of the Florida crew like Stay Puff and Sean, all those folks down there. Some of those folks down there are going to be coming up. We got BLC and some of that contingent coming down. We got some of the Southern folks just coming up and making our way up there. It's going to be a big show. It'll be a big show. Comics Curing Cancer. Rob Fat Stacks of Comics, who's actually from California, they're actually going to be running a booth there at Heroes, which Comics Curing Cancer will be coming up not too long from now. I think in October or whatever. And so they'll be doing some. They've already got a artist sketchbook that they put together to help start raising money for the American Cancer Society, which they did last year. Broke all kinds of records last year, and then they hope to do that again this year. So,
What? You hung out on my channel. What are you talking about? Remember, I got your book that's personally signed by your girlfriend.
Well, you know, and that's the one where she posed for it herself, right?
Well, he bought that original art piece, so
Yeah.
And yeah, you better watch out. That book might just fall into one of my boxes.
Scott saying it will probably
Everything
stop.
again.
Scott, I hope the steak is fantastic Thursday. I'm looking to get a fillet, and we'll hopefully it'll be great.
So, well, hopefully you and I will get a chance to. Did she post for that herself?
Yeah, I told you that. Yeah,
I heard you say it, but you know,
I wasn't joking. I think Tony's the one that told me.
Oh, okay. I'm sure Perillo took the pictures.
Hey.
I know. So, yeah, man, you know, it's always fun to hang out with you. Southern, you know, we've done media cons together. Now Cowtown is coming up too, I think.
Yeah, what happened last year that I didn't go?
I don't remember why we didn't go last year. I think it was early, we missed it or something.
It's in October, and I think it's the same weekend as Memphis. That's what happened. They moved it. But you know, that's the thing about Texas. Like, of course, it is a huge state, right? But like they have like all these cons. Like you can just go anywhere and stay inside the same state.
Yeah.
They've got a small. Used to have the old North Dallas show.
Yeah,
that was a really comic.
That's a great show. I don't know what happened to that show.
But that went away. But they've got a show up in North Dallas that is in an old mall, and to be a small show, it really brings in some good ones. Yes, I've already paid my dues. I've already paid my dues. I will be there. I will be over there in the corner with the people that are minding their business. As Shelby will tell you, I will cut up a lot of times at other people's expense, but I'll cut up with all of them. I know, like Friday night when Shelby, Mark, and Michael were all there at the restaurant, they were probably like, "What are those guys drinking?" There was no drinks at the table. I don't drink.
I don't drink.
Whatever the people do that do, you know, I like to be in use of my mental facilities. So, but yeah, so it's going to be a great time. Huh?
What few we have left.
That's right. BLC said he don't either.
Good.
Yeah. And yep. So yeah, but it's gonna be a good time. Looking forward to it. Be watching out for more stuff. Thank you, Shelby, for another year.
yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see some videos and stuff from Heroes Con. I know a lot of people. I just saw a video drop today of like pre-Heroes Cons. People are already dropping videos on YouTube for for that. But looking for some good NAs.
Hey, Scott, are you picking up any assault rifles or anything while you're there? Same here. Yeah, same here, BLC. I do eat quite a bit too. So,
Yeah.
But thank y'all for hanging out with us. We're going to get out of here.
And we will see y'all later. Remember, peace, love, and comics. Thank you all. Bye.
Adios.